Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.
Hello and welcome to the Leveling Up Podcast with me, George Swift. The Leveling Up Podcast is here to give you the personal development, the entrepreneurial development and the business growth that you, the ambitious business owner, desires. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, but as always to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe and never miss an episode. It's Friday, and today I'm going to do a Friday 5-minute fix. A shorter podcast episode designed to give you food for thought, to take into the weekend, to ponder upon, and then to come out next week, all guns blazing. Today, I want to talk to you about long-term consistency. In the last episode 161, I referenced Bruce Lee and how he talked about he feared more the man that had practiced one kick 10,000 times over the man that had practiced 10,000 kicks once. As I was recording that, I remembered my favorite Bruce Lee quote of all time, which is long-term consistency beats short-term intensity. If you've read much of what I've written, if you've followed me for any amount of time, listened to many of these episodes of this podcast, you may have heard me quote him before. The reason is it was a tough lesson that I had to learn myself. Naturally, I'm a bit impatient. I'm a little bit impetulant. And therefore, I don't always and haven't always been the best person at playing a longer game. When I was younger, I always remember, like one Saturday to the next, so you could see your favorite program felt like an eternity. Remember, Christmases felt like they would never, ever come round again. But as you get older, you start to realize that time is a friend, time is a commodity. You can waste it, but also it can be your greatest ally in creating success. To the degree that you apply yourself over the time scale that you do apply yourself, that's going to determine the success that ultimately you have. And I have been that person in the past where I come out all guns blazing, set myself ridiculous challenges, and I stick to them maybe for a month, 3 months in the past. Maybe I've even done a few for a year or so. But one of the things I had to learn as I got older, as I matured, I had to understand that, I had to play a longer game. That even if I went at everything 100%, there's only so much you can do in a month, a day, a week. There's only so much you can do in a year. But when you start thinking in terms of decades, when you start thinking in terms of lifespans, you start to realize actually, the possibilities start to really open up. The opportunity starts to massively magnify of what you can achieve and what you can create and who you can become if you start applying yourself to a high degree over long enough timescales. So instead of going out there at 100% and then quitting after 3 weeks, it makes much more sense to go out at a more steady pace of 80%, 85% and be able to keep turning in that performance week after week, month after month, year after year. It's a lesson I had to learn. It was a maturing that I had to go through myself. And Bruce Lee, I think, summarizes it absolutely perfectly, when he says that long-term consistency beats short-term intensity. If you take on a weight loss plan, a training plan, you take on, marketing on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, and you go at it like a crazy person, all in, eventually you'll get tired, you'll wear out, or you'll just fatigue emotionally and mentally at doing that one thing. Or it's like the kid that says, today I'm going to be a cyclist, or today I'm going to be a runner, or I'm going to be a skier. We watched Eddie the Eagle, the film, the other day. I love that film and I love the story. And, the one goal he had was he wanted to go to the Olympics, and he wasn't ultimately attached in how he got there. And that's how he ended up becoming a ski jumper. But he had 100 different ideas before that. But at some point he had to dedicate himself to something, to one thing. And this ties in very closely to the last episode 161, where I talk about, having to focus and go all in on something, and how you have to just repeat the basics over and over and over again in order to become skilled at something, in order to become an expert at something, and ultimately to master something. And that's when success comes. You can't become a master in the short term. You can't become a master in a month or even a year. It's going to take you many years, potentially decades, in order to become that master. But ultimately, that's when true success happens. Big success. You can have minor successes along the way, and as you go through to expert and you start to hone those skills and you start to get more discipline and more focus, obviously the rewards will increase with that as well. But ultimate success, that doesn't come for a long time. That doesn't come until you master something. And for that, you need long-term consistency. You have to go to the gym, not just for 3 months like a crazy person. You need to go to the gym consistently for the rest of your life. You can't just eat super healthy and diet and restrict all your calories for a month and expect to have a long-term healthy body. You have to eat healthily forever. And that's the diet plan that no one wants. That's the diet plan that no one wants to pay money for. The one that says you've got to eat healthy. For how long? Forever. You've got to exercise. Well, how long? Forever. You want to be successful in business. Okay, you're going to have to do sales. Well, for how long? Well, pretty much forever. You're going to have to be really focused and work hard. Really? For how long? Like forever. Like that's what success takes. That's what Bruce Lee says when he says long-term consistency. You have to do certain things consistently to a high degree over and over again for long periods of time. That's how you become a master. That's how you become ultimately successful. So going into this weekend, have a little think. Where do you need to mature a little bit? Are you like me in the past, my previous self, the one that would go all in on something, then lose interest or fatigue emotionally, mentally, or physically? You know, where do you need to bring some consistency into place? Are there certain things that you're not doing? You know, the basics we talked about in episode 161, like sales. You know, if you're not finding time for sales, you need to be more consistent with sales. You need to find more time to do sales daily, weekly, monthly. If there's other aspects, your marketing, that you're not being consistent in, do you need to bring in some consistency? Is it your business as a whole? You know, you're not bringing a high enough degree of yourself to your business consistently. Are you going all in for a day or 2 days, then having 1 or 2 days where you're not doing much at all, and then playing catch up and going all in for a day and you're inconsistent? Are you someone that has fits and starts? So you're super intense for a week or a month or 2 months, and then you lose your way, and then it's another week, month, 2 months before you get yourself back on track? Where do you need to bring consistency into your business, into your life, into your performance, into your actions and behaviors, into your tactics, your strategies, your planning, in order to achieve the ultimate success that you want to achieve? Have a think about that over the weekend. Have an awesome weekend doing whatever it is that you are doing. If you want to invest some of your weekend into growing as an entrepreneur, growing as a business person, and growing your business, then go and check out the 6-Figure Fast Track if you haven't done so already. biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk/fast track. I'll take you through the 6-figure mindset, 6-figure business model, and the 6-figure methodology that you need to have in place in order to take your business to 100K or more in the next 12 months or less. I'll put the link in the descriptions, as well as links to other resources to entertain you, regale you, to educate you, to inspire you, to motivate you, to challenge you, and to help you go out and achieve the success that you want to have in your business. I'll see you on Monday. Until then, as always, be successful.
Leveling up. Extreme business growth through raising your game. When what was once extraordinary becomes ordinary, you know you've leveled up.